today. It's fun and it's easy. The ingredients are simple. Evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, some sugar, 3 eggs, and a little bit of vanilla. So the hardest part of making flan is the caramel. Let's do that first. I will show you how to do it. Then we'll come back and put together some individual flans. I have in the pan 1 cup of ordinary sugar, granulated sugar. To that I'm adding 2 tablespoons of water, and there's a reason for that. I'm also adding a 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. And not all caramel recipes use the addition of sugar, and I think some of the finest chefs around do it by just pure sugar and their skill and technique, but I'm not as skilled as that. What you want is, and I'm going to turn this on high now and get this heating up. What you want is for this to look like wet sand. While this is heating up, I want to tell you one other thing. You'll see me periodically wiping the sides of this pan with a dampened paper towel around the edges, and the reason for that, I'll do it now to show you what I do. The reason for that is it helps prevent the caramel from crystallizing. I don't know why it does that, but it always seems to help a little bit. Okay, I've got this heating up now. I'm going to move it down to a medium-high heat because I don't want it to burn. Often when you're doing this, you swirl the pan rather than stir. And I'll swirl right now and then let it go again for a little bit longer. We're looking for a golden, deep amber color. This gets tricky and the timing will be quick. When this turns amber, I will very quickly pour this into individual ramekins that I've already got prepared and waiting. You'll see that in a moment. Swirl. Let's watch this color. It's happening quickly. That medium-high heat seems just right. I think we have it. Turn the heat off. I will quickly pour this into each ramekin. See that it's already getting thicker. Okay, while they are still hot, I will swirl each one. It makes it come along the sides. And then these will be allowed to cool. And I'll be back to make the flan for you. Let's make the custard part of the flan. I'm going to use a blender. And in goes the evaporated milk, 1 can. Also a can of sweetened condensed milk. Now I'd have to say that I wouldn't call this a healthy dessert, but the portions, when you make them like I do in individual ramekins, you can control that portion and just have one, and then it isn't so bad. Now I'll put in a teaspoon of vanilla. I think the vanilla is very important. 3 eggs. This is filling up. And 1/3 of a cup of sugar. I apologize in advance for the noise, but this needs to be blended very well. This, and see. What I want to be certain of is that the sugar became completely blended, and that looks good. Wonderful. Okay, set this aside. Now, I pour this into the ramekins that we prepared earlier. They're perfect. And this recipe makes 7. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. And I have some boiling water at the ready that we put in here. It pours gently into the bottom of the pan because this is going to be a water bath. And it's just necessary to have the water so that the flans will cook properly. The water bath helps make that happen. That's all I use this pan for, is to make the flan. Okay, now it's ready, and I'm going to put this into the oven. And once you fill that pan with the ramekins and the custard with the boiling water, it's close to the upper part of the pan, so it's really tricky to transfer that to the oven without spilling or splashing some water into your ramekins. So you do have to be careful when you're putting it into the oven, and also careful when you take it out of the oven later on. We're almost ready to check the flans. Okay, I have the flans out of the oven and they are done. Here's how you tell that they're done. Now I'm going to jiggle. This pan is still very hot. I'm going to jiggle it a little bit. You can see that the centers still seem a little bit underdone. They jiggle, but they're still in the very hot water, and as they cool, they will finish cooking right here. Now let's unmold the flan. Sometimes if I'm not using it for dessert, I'll just eat it right out of the container like this, serve it like this. But it's much more fun to turn it into a pretty dessert. Now, you'll see this golden crust on the top here. That also does not necessarily have to come off. It tastes wonderful, but if I'm unmolding, I do like to remove it, most of it, like that. I'll put that aside. And the reason I do that is just so it'll have a cleaner look when it's on the plate later. Now, I'll take a knife and go around like this. And that's all there is to that. Now, watch the unmold. It should come down out. We might need just a little encouragement. Take a look. Ah, there it comes. Had to break that air seal. And it will come out of the dish. It's gorgeous. Here we are, a beautiful flan. There you can see it perfectly. And look at the texture. Lovely. And that's all there is to it.